Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've decided to do an in-depth look at what Donald Trump is going to cancel federal funding for in California schools called the 1619 Project Curriculum. The 1619 Project, inaugurated with a special issue of the New York Times Magazine, challenges us to reframe U.S. history by marking the year when the first enslaved Africans arrived on Virginia soil as our nation's foundational date. Here you will find reading guides, activities, and other resources to bring the 1619 Project into your classroom. Wondering where to start? Dive into our reading guide. It was published on June 1st, 2020. Reading guide, quotes, key terms, and questions. This is where we're going to start off. Resource review. Same thing as before. Point 1. How do societal structures develop to support the enslavement of black people and the anti-black racism that was cultivated in the U.S. to justify slavery influence the aspects of modern laws, policies, systems, and culture? What the hell does this have to do with the actual founding of America? Now, let's be perfectly clear. This is supposed to be teaching American history from its founding. And the backbone of this is that allegedly they're going to change the starting date of our nation from 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed and sent off, to the date when slaves were first brought to Virginia. The first question that we should have is, why were they there and who brought them there? And were the slaves actually a part of the impetus of starting a new nation? The answer, of course, is hell no. Hell no, these slaves who arrived in Virginia were not a part of the impetus of starting a new nation. So, this is largely an irrelevant issue. So the second question is, how have resistance, innovation, and advocacy by black Americans over the course of American history contributed to the nation's wealth and the strengthening of its democracy? Well, let me first start off that from the start, their resistance and innovation and advocacy that heavily contributed to the nation's wealth and strengthening wasn't done by black Americans. It was done by white Americans. Primarily white Americans. The notable exceptions might be Harriet Tubman and Sir Frederick Douglass. Other than that, and those few outliers, most of the work was done by white Americans. This guide offers reflection questions that can be used to support students' engagement with the 1619 Project, as well as downloadable PDFs that highlight the following for each piece: a quote that captures a central theme, key names, dates, and terms, guiding questions, which is the opposite of the Socratic method. The Socratic method is asking open questions and then using logic and reason to come to a specific answer, to consider while reading. Questions to consider before exploring the 1619 Project. Okay, are you starting to see why this is a questionable curriculum? I'm sorry, but the founding of the United States was not a history of slavery in the United States. The founding of the United States was based on the premise of freedom for all. completely regardless of whether or not slavery was a part of American life at the time. This is nothing short of subversion. This is nothing short of indoctrination. This is nothing short of the exact same Marxist propaganda that has perpetuated a victimhood mentality, when we should be creating individuals and educating them in ways that they can be free men and women and not have to constantly be reminded of the sins of ages past. This is all nonsense. Referring to the text of the Declaration of Independence, answer the following questions. What were the values stated in the Declaration? No, this should have been... Oh my gosh. This should have been question number 1, but it's not. They want to ask, how did you first learn about the history of slavery in the U.S.? No, this is utter garbage. I didn't know what I was going to find when I clicked on this. I thought it was just... I had no idea this was going to be so damn blatant. Oh my goodness. So we're going to go back. Index of terms and historical events. Let's take a look at this. Again, this is for all grades. Ah, damn, I have to download a PDF. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so here we are. Terms and historical events cited in the 1619 Project essays. First on the list, affirmative action, as found in quote-unquote undemocratic democracy by Jamel Bowie. I'm assuming that's how you say that name. The Affordable Care Act. Capitalism. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, as given to us by Undemocratic Democracy by Jamil. The Idea of America by Nicole. And The Broken Healthcare System by Janine Interlandi. I had no idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a commentary on the Civil Rights Act of 1960 on our healthcare system, I should say. Cotton farming. Cotton farming is a main term in this curriculum. The Declaration of Independence, not cited by the actual Declaration of Independence, but through the prism of a book written by Nicole, The Idea of America. Fiat currency, good as gold. The GI Bill. Hurricane Katrina. Holy shit. Jim Crow laws. And the Louisiana Purchase through the lens of Matthew Desmond in his work titled Capitalism. I'm sorry, this is lynching, redlining. Yeah, this is a total retcon of the American founding through the lens of postmodernists. This is utter garbage. Wall Street. Yes, Wall Street. They want to cover the topic of Wall Street in a class that is supposed to be educating our youth about the American Revolution and the American founding. What a load of shit. All right, and I'm sorry that I have seen all I need to see about this 1619 project, and I hope that you have you do your own digging into this, because I'm sure I could I could dig and dig and find more and more things to be utterly appalled at. Anyways, guys, take care. This is what Trump's getting rid of, thank God.